All right, and here is a look at Generations Double Dealer. He is a repaint slash remold, a very slight remold, it's just the head really, of the Blitzwing Generations triple changer that we got. Kind of a fitting one, and he doesn't turn into a bird and a missile tank. In a missile transport, he turns into a tank and a jet. But thematically, you know, it's still flying vehicle, ground attack vehicle, triple changer, kind of cool. Now the box lists him as a Decepticon, and I don't know if that was actually his distinction in G1. I always remember him being more of he was just a mercenary who fought for either side, and he'd never really affiliated with one faction or another. And even his bio on the back of the box indicates that he goes to whichever side will pay him more. But his faction is listed as Decepticon. I assume, and his name is Decepticon Double Dealer. So I wonder if maybe they did that for naming purposes, or maybe just since the case assortment with him right now has 2 Rhinox, 1 Sandstorm, and him, I think maybe they just wanted to have a Decepticon in there to maybe balance it out. I don't know. But he is, according to his packaging and instruction booklet, he is technically a Decepticon who works for both sides. I always thought he was completely officially unaffiliated, according to G1, but I could be misremembering that. I remember he's got both an Autobot tank mode and a Decepticon jet mode. So, in his bio, like I said, says he works for either side. So, that's where he's going to be in my books. So yeah, he doesn't have any of the fixes. There's no fixes for the Blitzwing issues. Again, this side I can kind of get to stay on, but even the fix I found for the non-modification fix I found for Blitzwing isn't working very well on him. He's got the very loose, floppy shoulders. I've learned to live with it. Plus, I know there's that fix you can do where you sand down the torso a little bit, which worked even better on my Blitzwing than my fix did. I'll probably do that to him. But just know going in that any of the issues you had with Blitzwing, the only difference is the head. His new head does let the nose cone sit slightly better without warping than Blitzwing's did, but not much. Like, any of the issues you had with Blitzwing are still present. Just in the case of the nose cone, it's to a slightly lesser degree, but the shoulders are still just as... You might get a good one, you might get a bad one, but they're all going to be a little on the loose side. So just caveats going in. If you have the Blitzwing mold and you had some issues with that, chances are those issues are still going to be present to some degree on Double Dealer. I do like the design. I like the colors. His head, the new head sculpt is actually really, really nice and very evocative of Double Dealer. Not quite as big and square, but, you know. So, yeah. Then we have, we'll go on, he's got his sword, which, again, is the same sword, just painted blue and silver. And then black little pistol, which, again, is the same mold. You can see the colors. You can see he's got the Autobot symbol back here for tank mode on his butt. The Decepticon symbol for jet mode is on the nose cone of the jet up here on top. These can flip out. I had them folded in just to distinguish them a little bit. You can leave those folded out. Entirely up to you. Posability-wise, same as Blitzwing. He's got some in and out and front and back here on the hips. He does have hinged knees. Ball joint ankles, so they don't go in very well just due to the way he's built, but they do go out a little bit. You get a pretty decent range of motion there in the ankles. Again, you got hinges at the shoulders, both forward and back and side to side. You kind of have to hold the shoulders down when doing that just because of the aforementioned shoulder issue. His head is can turn side to side. It's a little limited by the nose cone. You can take steps to, you can transform this in ways that get that nose cone a little bit further out of the way. I just have it kind of sit behind his head in order to get the fold all the weapons away from. You get the cannon stored on his back in a way that doesn't have it sticking straight up over his head, because I never really cared for that look. So yeah, you got the same missile that launches when you pull this up. Excuse me. And I'm just going to leave that out for the purpose until we need to later on, because otherwise this is going to keep popping out during the course of the review. No waist swivel, again, due to transformation. So yeah, transformation, again, is exactly the same as Blitzwing, just like everything else. You want to cover up his hands here. I have noticed that these covers don't like to pop off nearly as easily as my Blitzwings did, so that's nice, these black covers here on the arms. And you just take, again, you push the head down, you fold the nose cone up and in, And you can see like it's not, it still pushes, it still gaps a little bit, but it's not as bad. At least on mine, this is not as bad as my Blitzwing was. It's still there, there's still a gap. Maybe I've just learned to live with it, and so it's not bugging me as much this time around, but it is still there. I'll bring the nose cone down, up and around like this. Snap it all up under there. We'll start getting into jet mode first. Bring the arms up, just like this, up against that, and then up against that. Then bring the gun comes down. We're going to store it just under the jet like this. Rotate these. Actually, these come up. And you want to bring the arms down like this. Rotate them, and then fold them up. Wait, okay, hold on. Something ain't right here. Oh, there we go. Excuse me. I've got like this one little hanging thing. Like talking is not helping. I've got one little itch at the back of my throat. Still getting over a cold. I hope I'm still getting over a cold and not coming down with a new one. Because that would suck. Granted, talking isn't helping, but yeah. So we're going to bring it back like that. Leave these up. Fold this around. Bring it around like this. This out to the side and down. Bring the wing out. Slide the filler piece back in. And you kind of want to rotate that in so it snaps into place. And do the same over here. Rotate this. There's a little tab right here that tabs in back under here, and that's why when you bring this back, flip that up, bring the wing out. It helps if you go in, bring it in a little under where it's going to tab in, and then kind of twist the leg into place like from underneath, and that'll lock it into place a lot easier, a lot better. And once that's done, now you can flip the landing gear up. You can flip this cannon forward so it faces forward under the jet. But that's entirely up to you. I like to just fold it back, leave it stored. It kind of fills in the body of the jet. You can pretend it's an afterburner back here. That's jet mode. And it is a little gappy. I find if you take the sword and plug it in just like this. Because like the pictures on the side of the box have the sword and the gun stored under the wings. I like if you plug this in right here, it kind of fills in the back of the jet there. And then this gun, again, you can plug it in on top of the sword. You can have it up there. You can plug it in over on the side of one of the things. You can plug it in like it pictured under the wings, although if you only have one gun, you've got one. We got it on one wing. You can even plug it under here, kind of Macross style. Have a little gun pod there under the jet. Entirely up to you. But yeah, a nice, again, evocative of his old Eagle mode with the teeth. He was a Falcon before, the purple wings and all that. So a nice little homage while being a different alt mode to Double Dealer's original Decepticon form. And then from here, it's just a matter of doing a few tweaks to get to tank mode. You want to go ahead and bring this up, lift the gun, flip it up and over into the middle of the canopy. Bring this whole section down, leave it like that, but fold it up under the tank. And then pull these out. Actually, you want to just unhook the legs and then extend them out to the side. Just like that. And then there's a couple, you want to rotate this down so the treads are on the bottom. Open up the treads like this. Flip out this piece inside. And close that up. And when you do that, this whole tread piece comes down, which lets you hide the wing inside that tread part. And then you just bring this down and fold it in so the fin is on the inside now. And then you, again, this tab now, aside instead of this tab, you do the same thing, but this tab's going to snap inside under here. So that snaps in under there, and there's now a tab that tabs into place onto the side of the torso right here. Same thing over here. Tab that in. Snap it on. And then there's a couple little flaps. So you can fold those in. These fold in like that to fill in the turret. And the arm pieces you want to rotate so they curve, the ends of them curve inward toward the gun, and they tab back into the turret as well. Come on. And then there's a couple flaps here on either side of the Autobot symbol that flip up to fill in that gap in vehicle mode. Like that. And there is his tank mode. And again, you can, I tend to stick the sword right here on top of the turret. The pictures have it on the side. I like to go for symmetry and then put this little gun on top, or you can plug it in sideways if you choose, on top of the turret. And there you go. And then there's the missile. You can put the missile back in here. So it's kind of hidden in the turret, and you pull it back and launches the missile. Not very far, not very hard, but it does launch the missile. And there, again, it's not quite the impressive missile transport that he had in G1, but you got the Autobot symbol there. He's a nice little Autobot tank. Personally, I don't know. Is he worth buying if you already have Blitzwing? I liked Double Dealer. I liked the G1 toy. And I like the idea of the dual faction characters. So I think he's worth picking up for that alone. If you already have Blitzwing, I don't know if it's a necessary purchase. It doesn't do anything spectacularly different or better than Blitzwing does, and the same issues that affect Blitzwing still affect Double Dealer. So it's really if you want to double dip on that. I like it. I like the colors. I like the idea of turning him into Double Dealer. Of all the people they could have repainted him as, there was a lot of speculation as to who was he going to be. And I think Double Dealer is a good fit. So if you like the Double Dealer as a character, pick him up. If you have Blitzwing and you're just kind of frustrated with Blitzwing, you probably don't want to go double down on the mold. So it really is personal preference on this one. I like it. I can't. It's not like Rhinox. It's not a buy it if you see it for me. It's a decent figure. It's not a must-have. I don't think, unless you have something for the character specifically. So yeah, that's pretty much my rundown on it. And there is Double Dealer.